good, everyone? Hope all is well. Joshua Grady here with the Agent Talk podcast, and I am super excited about this week. Okay, today is New Year's, January 1st. I was going to call it New Year's 1st, but it's January 1st, first day of 2022. And before we even get into it, if you are not trying to be great, stop listening. If there is not something inside of you, if there is not a fire that burns inside of you that desires to tap in to another level this year, you can stop listening right now. If any part of your existence is okay with being mediocre, being average, being no better than what you were in 2021, you can stop listening right now. This message is not for you. This message is not for you, okay? However, on the flip side, despite what 2021 looked like for you, despite any failures you might have had, despite any success you might have had, despite any disappointments, despite any accomplishments, if you desire for this year coming up, the year that we are now in, to be better, to be your best year yet, as some would say, I would encourage you to tune in, because that's what today's message is all about, okay? Around this time of year for the New Year's, most people will create some sort of New Year's resolution. Most people will get out their pen and paper. They'll make a list. I want to gain or lose X amount of weight. I want to drink more water. I want a 4.0. I want to make X amount of money. Whatever it is, whatever are these goals, I want to buy a house. Whatever are these goals that this time of year conjures up for people. It is very popular. I've been making, in quotes, New Year's resolutions since I was a young boy, since little, all I can remember. However, as I have gotten older, trying to work on my enunciations of letters, as I have gotten older, I have realized that for most people, making goals is meaningless because their actions do not follow through. Okay? For most people, making goals is meaningless because when motivation runs out, they have nothing to fall back on. There is no why. There is no inner desire to truly get done what it is that they set out to get done. There is nothing that helps them continue on the journey when times get hard, when obstacles come into play, when they begin to plateau, when it's no longer fun. That's what happens for most people. I actually have a statistic. This is from a study in 2016, so slightly outdated, but like human nature, we do the same things over and over again. So I actually don't think it's outdated. But a study in 2016 said that by the end of the year, out of all of the people that make New Year's resolutions, actually, before I give the answer, take a second to ask yourself, if you had to guess what percent of the people who set out on a New Year's resolution, by the end of the year, 365 days later, how many of those people would say that they were successful in what they resoluted? Is that a word? And how many of those people would say that they were successful in tapping into their New Year's resolution? Take a second, slight pause, whatever that guess is. The correct answer, according to this study, 9%. Okay, 9% out of all of the people in the United States that make a New Year's resolution actually see it through. This is honestly a bit high to me. I would have said 1% because I've realized that it is the 1% that have the mentality of what it takes to be great in this life, but 9%, that's an F minus. Okay? That's less than 1/10. For those that are listening, if you're in college, okay, you got 100 people in your class, in your peer group. That's a lot. Say it's 10 people. You got 10 people in your peer group, you being one of them. Look to the left and to the right. All of you are going to set out and say, hey, I'm going to be great. I have 10 people on my team right now. According to statistics, out of all of us that decide that we want to do this for this year, only one person out of the 10 actually sees it through. Okay. Now, why is that? Why is that? I have a variety of ideas. I want to make sure that this episode is concise and that I'm not rambling. So I would like to give some tangibles. One, I don't know everyone who might know this, but I have a cane right here. Those that's looking on the audio. Okay. I pledge New Row Spring 12 Kappa Alpha Psi 5 Club. Okay. That's my fraternity. One of the very first lessons that we learned when I was pledging is the definition of excuses. Excuses. Before I get into the definition, excuses I have realized are more often than not the leading factor for people out there, people that are 18, people that are 28, people that are 58. More often than not, the reason that individuals in life do really never see the level of success that they have set out on is because of excuses. We live in a mindset of a society where we finger point about everything. It is always someone else's fault. It is always society's fault. It's my teacher's fault. It's my boss's fault. It's my wife's fault. It's the bank's fault. It's my client's fault. It's everyone else's fault except your own for why you do not see greatness in your life. If you have succumbed to that mentality in 2021 and yet you desire to see greatness in your life for 2022, that is where you need to start right there. It's getting rid of the excuses. Now, going back to Kappa Alpha Psi, what was taught to us? Very simple definition. I would encourage you, if you are listening to this while it's on pen and paper, notes, say it to a friend, something that will allow this to seep into your core. Because if you can take this to heart and really embrace it, I can guarantee you your life will be better this year off of this simple fact alone. Okay? What are excuses? Excuses are tools of incompetence. Okay? Excuses are tools of incompetence used to build monuments of nothingness. Those who use them seldom amount to anything. Let me say that one more time. Excuses are tools of incompetence used to build monuments of nothingness. Those who use them seldom amount to anything. So, for those maybe don't know, let's look at the definition of incompetent. Incompetent means not having or showing the necessary skills to do something successfully. So what are excuses? They are tools of incompetence. Those who do not have or show the necessary skills to do something successfully make excuses. That is a tool of the incompetent. Those who use them seldom amount to anything. They make monuments of nothingness. Straightforward for me. Cut the excuses out, man. Cut them out. It's nobody else's fault if in 2022 you do not see the depths of greatness that you desire. Right now, I'm reading through David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me book. And let me just tell you, if you have never read this book, you have no idea what you are missing out on. When you talk about a man who had all of the excuses in the world to not be great in life. Beat by his dad, broke growing up, can't read, can't do this, can't do that, in the special ed classes, things of that sort. And to see how this individual, from where he started, made the conscious decision to say, I want to find out what I am truly capable of, not because of anything no other reason than simply he realized that there was greater out there for him. He could have blamed his dad to never amount to anything. He could have blamed his mom to never amount to anything. He could have blamed society, was around a whole bunch of racists when he grew up. Could have blamed society, could have blamed the principal, could have blamed being broke. All of these things. And yet you have an individual that decided to test the capabilities of his mind, to test the capabilities of his body, to go on and survive 3 hell weeks within the Navy SEALs, to go on and run these ultra marathons, over 100 miles of running, to go on and break the pull-up record, over 4,000 pull-ups in a 24-hour period. You have a man that, for most people listening, if we were in his shoes, we would have folded, called it a day, lived an average life, a below average life. And now when I'm able to read this man's story, it just makes it so tangible for me. One thing he says all the time in his book, I don't cuss, so I'm going to shorten it. It's a lot of people out here that just be BSing. That is the reality. It's a lot of people out here, and even like this book checked me, because there are certain things in my life where I just been BSing, man. There are friends, peers, clients, family, people that I see after reading this book and reading how it has changed my mindset and my perspective on what is really possible, where on the surface, it's like, oh, nothing's wrong. You have a great reason to not tap into that higher level. You're doing good. You're good. There's no need to challenge you or to push you. However, in seeing how this book has changed my own mind, I now understand how much further we can go, how much more wisdom we can share, how much more pain we can endure. And I'm speaking to myself here. After reading this book, 2021, one of our clients had a $50,000 deal with YouTube. We had our first year with 2 NFL draft picks. As of right now, we have 6 players on an NFL roster, the most we've ever had. It's not good enough anymore. However much money we made in 2021, not good enough anymore. However, to what level of love I have shown my wife, not good enough anymore. Whatever sort of growth that GSA and our team has, not good enough anymore. 2021, I have grown the most physically. It's not good enough anymore. And for me, it's really just a simple choice, man. It's a simple choice. I'm not going to ramble too much. It's just, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's a lot of people going to wake up today, set these resolutions out, be gung-ho. Day 2, they sleeping in. Day 7, not going to the gym no more. Day 21, all motivation is gone. And then what? Anaya always says we need to have a call to action. My call to action is, if you are listening to this, set a goal out for yourself this year that you look at as, this is impossible. Don't set an easy goal. That's another issue. We live in a soft society, very soft. Standards very low. We congratulate people for doing things they should have done anyways. We congratulate people for doing things that are right at the standard and not above. We give excuses to people for failing. We make it okay to settle for mediocrity. And that's fine with me, because as far as I'm concerned, there is no traffic when I'm driving in my own lane of excellence. Because for the majority, the 91% of people, when it comes to not finishing out their New Year's resolutions, y'all stay in that lane, create your own traffic. It's a whole bunch of traffic over there. It's a whole bunch of traffic in the lane of mediocrity and averageness and settling. However, if you desire to be in the lane of greatness, you come join me, because that's where I'm at this year. And some people listening to this, it's going to go over their head. Some people listening to this are going to say, yep, I'm on it. I'm in your lane of greatness. And in a week from now, you're right over there. You're right over there in the traffic lane with all the average Joes and average Joannas. However, I do know there is going to be one person, at least one person, that is listening or watching this, that these words are going to mean something to you. That you realize, and this is what I think is the hardest part above anything else, most people right now think that they are great. Most people right now think that they have tapped out. They're at the highest of their potential, their highest level of output. They're doing the most work they can do. They're making the most money they can make. That's flawed thinking, man. It's flawed. In David Goggins' book, I'm not going to spoil it. I am going to do a book review at some point. The book is called Can't Hurt Me. Don't know if I've said that just yet. I will go get it. I'll read it. In his book, he has a 40% rule. Basically what it means in summation is, when we think we have tapped out on our capabilities, when we think we have tapped out on our potential, when we think we have endured as much as we can, we are really only 40% out of 100% of the way. Meaning, when you think I'm being great, I'm at 100 out of 100, you still have 60%, more than half of your potential to go. So my encouragement above all else, humble yourself enough this day. All of the accomplishments, and you might have a wide array of them, throw them in the trash, man, because you're at most at 40% of how great you can be. I don't know about you, but I know about me. I know come 2022, this entire year, I'm tapping in. I'm done with the excuses. I'm done with any settling. I'm done with the lane of mediocrity. I'm tapping in. You need to ask yourself, are you tapping in? That's all I really got, man. Joshua Grady here, Agent Talk Podcast. If this message brought any fruit, any deliverance, anything, any value to your life, as always, a subscription, a like, a thumbs up, a share, all of those things they're very meaningful, and they help get the word out. And, if I did not provide any value today, I'll try to do better next time. But that's all I got. I'm going to be great. And if you desire to be great, cut out the excuses. Set goals that that other people would say they are impossible for you, and take every single step daily to achieve them. You got 60% left. That's all I got, man. Agent Grady, Joshua Grady, I'm out. Let's have a great 2022.